It was supposed to be the happiest day of his life. On a warm Saturday afternoon in late May, in Charleston, South Carolina, 34-year-old Daniel Whitaker stood at the altar with his bride, Melissa James. Friends described them as picture perfect, a couple who had found love after heartbreak. Daniel, a rising architect, and Melissa, a trauma nurse, had met in a grief support group after losing loved ones. They had only dated 14 months before tying the knot. Their wedding, intimate, romantic, unforgettable. But no one knew that just hours after saying, "I do," Daniel would be in handcuffs, charged with the murder of a woman he once loved. At 6:42 a.m. on Sunday, barely a day into their honeymoon, state troopers responded to a call about a car crash off Route 78 in a remote area just outside Columbia. A silver Honda Civic had gone over a guardrail and landed in a shallow ravine. The driver, 30-year-old Sierra Blake, pronounced dead at the scene. It looked like a tragic single-car accident. No skid marks, no broken glass. The airbags deployed. Toxicology, clean. But something was off. Her shoes were neatly tucked under the seat. Her phone was missing. And in the trunk, a duffel bag with clothes that didn't belong to her. Detectives dug into her past, and the connection became chillingly clear. Sierra Blake was Daniel Whitaker's ex-girlfriend, the woman he had broken up with 11 months before, shortly after meeting Melissa. When news reached Daniel and Melissa still in their hotel suite, he reportedly turned pale, then told police, "I haven't spoken to Sierra in almost a year." But that was a lie. Phone records showed late-night texts between Daniel and Sierra just 4 days before the wedding. One message from Sierra read, "You said you'd call it off. If I'm not enough, she never will be." Hotel security footage revealed Daniel left his room for 2 hours the night before the wedding, returning at 3:19 a.m. alone, sweaty and disoriented. The parking garage camera captured a glimpse of his car, missing for exactly the same window of time Sierra was last seen alive. The autopsy ruled out death by impact. There were no internal injuries consistent with a crash, but bruising around the throat and petechial hemorrhaging in the eyes. Cause of death: strangulation. The crash was staged. Even more damning, a fingerprint on Sierra's trunk latched Daniel's. Police arrested Daniel on suspicion of first-degree murder, and his fairy tale wedding became a headline nightmare. At trial, Daniel insisted Sierra was obsessed and unstable. He claimed she threatened to ruin the wedding if he didn't meet her one last time. He admitted to seeing her the night before to get closure, he said, but denied harming her. The twist: a letter found in Sierra's apartment, handwritten and dated 2 weeks prior. "If anything happens to me, it wasn't an accident." Daniel said no one could know we were still seeing each other. "He scares me. Please don't believe the lies." The jury didn't. Daniel Whitaker was found guilty of murder, sentenced to life without parole. Melissa filed for an annulment from the man she married less than 36 hours before the truth came crashing down. One woman walked down the aisle believing she'd found forever. Another ended up in a ravine, her voice silenced. And the man between them chose murder over honesty. Sometimes, true love stories don't end with happily ever after. They end with a body, a lie, and a lifetime behind bars. But just when the world thought the case was closed, another truth surfaced. Months after Daniel's conviction, a woman came forward, Sierra's close friend and former roommate. She wasn't looking for justice. She was looking for Daniel. In her arms was a child. A little girl with hazel eyes and a birth certificate that listed no father's name. But a DNA test would later reveal what Sierra had taken to her grave. Daniel Whitaker had a daughter. And now, the question isn't just why he killed Sierra, but what else was he trying to bury? The story isn't over.